ClickHouse CTL is the official CLI for ClickHouse. It manages local installations, runs local servers, and operates ClickHouse Cloud. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use it to more easily compare the performance of queries between ClickHouse versions. So we can install it similar to the way that we install the ClickHouse binary with curl and then pipe it through sh, and you can see it installs it as ClickHouse CTL with the alias chctl. I'm now going to create a local server on my machine. So we say chctl local server start, and then I'm going to give it a version, and then I'm going to name that server. And you can see it starts up. So it's version 25.12, and we're calling it old. I'm then going to do another one, this time with version 26.3, and I'm going to call this one new. And you can see that goes on a couple of different ports. We can get a list of the servers by using server list, and you can see we've got both of the ones we just started on that list. I'm going to now use the client command to connect to my old server, and then I'm going to create the UK price paid dataset by pasting in this command here. And then we're going to insert some data in there from a file that I've got running on a local server on my machine. And you can see it takes a few seconds, so we'll speed it up. We've now got 30 million rows of data to work with. Now we need to get that table into our 26.3 database. And we're going to have a little bit of fun rather than just pasting that command again. So we can call against the client show create table with output format LineAsString, and you can see it comes back with the create statement. We can then go and update that command to pipe it into the new client. And then if we connect to the new client and do show tables, you can see we've got the UK price paid dataset there. And then we're going to go and read from that other server and get the data from there. And you see it takes a little bit of time, so we speed it up. And now the data is in the 26.3 database as well. Now we're ready to test a performance improvement when using distinct over low cardinality columns that was added in 26.1. So this is the query that we're going to run. So you can see it takes about 18 milliseconds to run, and it comes back with 132 rows. So we're going to come out of the client, and then we're going to run it 5 times. First of all against old, you see they've got the query in there, and we're capturing the time, and then we're just going to throw the output away. And you can see if we run this a few times, it's taking sort of 75, 80 or so milliseconds. Now if we update the command to point against our new client, you can see this time it's much quicker. So it's about 15, 16 or so milliseconds. Let's do one more. So in 26.3, we added a Parquet metadata cache. So it caches the metadata from Parquet file footers, which includes the file structure, row group layout, and column statistics. The consistency is guaranteed by tracking file modifications by etag. And we're going to see how it works when querying some Parquet files in S3. So I've got this query here in the parquet.sql file. So we're counting the number of rows, and then we're computing the average gas price across a bunch of blockchain files from 2024, and we're going to turn off the use query condition cache so that it doesn't cache that where clause for finding the particular block numbers. Okay, and then we're going to run a sort of similar sort of query 5 times, but this time we're going to use queries file and pass in the file, and again we're capturing the time. We're going to speed it up again for the video. So the first time it takes 11.4 seconds, then we're about 9, and then a little bit under 9. So it's a little bit faster, maybe some file caching going on there. Now let's do the same thing, but against our new, so 26.3 database with the Parquet metadata cache. So you can see the first one takes a little bit of time, so we'll speed it up again for the video. So it's just under 12 seconds. So more or less the same as what it took on 25.12, which is kind of to be expected. But you can see the subsequent runs are much, much faster. So we're down to 2 seconds, 1.6, 1.6, and that's because the metadata cache is now being used. We can have a look at this SQL file here. So we've got a query that goes against the settings, so we can get all our Parquet metadata cache settings, and then we can go and have a look at the metrics to see how much data is actually being cached. And if we run that query, you can see the cache size is 500 megabytes or 5,000 files. It's using a SLRU cache policy. And then if we look underneath, you can see that the actual cache itself is 46 megs for 366 Parquet files. And if you want to see even more cool ClickHouse stuff, you'll want to check out this playlist next.